On a crisp autumn morning in Wyoming, as the first light of dawn stretched across the horizon, 72-year-old rancher Henry Larson set out for his usual walk across the windswept prairie near his farm. The golden grasses shimmered faintly in the mist, and the chill of the early season carried with it a quiet stillness. But that morning was not like the others. As he moved through the tall grass, Henry noticed a patch of gray fur lying unnaturally still beneath a clump of dry reeds. He stopped, his breath forming small clouds in the cold air, and stepped closer. There, half hidden and trembling, was a prairie wolf. Its front leg was bent at an unnatural angle, streaked with blood, and its eyes, dulled by pain, barely flickered at his presence. For a long moment, man and wolf locked eyes, creature of the wild and the aging rancher who had spent his life among these lands. Then, without hesitation, Henry slipped off his coat, wrapped the trembling body in a blanket he carried, and lifted it gently into his truck. At the nearest veterinary outpost, the wolf was treated for fractures and blood loss. Yet Henry did not stop there. Each day, he returned, bringing food and, perhaps stranger still, his voice. He would sit by the pen, speaking softly, telling stories of the land, of winters long gone, of his late wife who once loved to walk with him across the same prairie. The wolf, silent and watchful, never bared its teeth. It only listened. In time, the animal's leg was set in plaster, its strength slowly returning. When the veterinarians deemed it stable enough, Henry insisted on taking it home. There, by the stand of birch trees behind his ranch, he built a simple enclosure. He named the wolf Ash, a nod to the soft gray of its fur, but also to the scars of suffering that clung to its story. Through November's waning days, the bond between them deepened. Henry fed Ash daily, spoke to him as one might to an old friend, and watched the cautious steps of recovery. And though he cared for the creature with devotion, he knew one truth he could never ignore. Ash did not belong to fences or enclosures. Ash belonged to the vast, unbroken sweep of the prairie. That knowledge weighed heavy. For Henry, it was a reminder of loss, of letting go when every instinct clung to holding on. On a snow-bright morning in early December, Henry unlatched the gate. Ash stood motionless, his breath rising in pale clouds, amber eyes fixed on the man who had saved him. The silence between them stretched, thick with unspoken understanding. Then, with one lingering look, Ash stepped forward, paws pressing softly into the snow. He moved away, slow at first, then with growing strength, until his gray figure merged with the rolling whiteness of the prairie. Henry remained by the open gate long after, the cold biting at his cheeks. There was no bitterness in him, only a quiet fullness. For in the vast stillness of Wyoming's winter, he had discovered something rare, that sometimes the deepest bond is not in keeping, but in letting go.